Welcome to the JP8 report. This is James Pierce with the JP8 report, episode 405. Welcome to Monday. It is. Whoa, what's going on here? Hold on just a second, man. One of the things I hold my stuff on my desk was like tilted. I don't know how it happened, but that's all right. I got it fixed. All right. Sorry about that loud noise, though. All right. Welcome to the JP8 report. Man, I may have plenty of data here to go over today, but thank y'all very much for tuning in. I appreciate it. As we get started, I know this is a new time. We're testing out a new time slot to see how well it works and stuff. We'll see. We will see. But click that follow button for me, please, and click that like button for the episode for the JP8 report. And jump into the chat if you want. It'd be great. I appreciate it. Right now, we got Ricky in there for Covite for Life. Good friend of mine. Join us. Let's have a little bit of fun here. Today is June 1st. I said it earlier during the morning brief. Cannot believe it's already June 1st. Wow. And today is the first day of hurricane season, so be ready. So hurricane season goes from June 1st to, I believe, October 31st. All right. So this is the start. Last year was a very, very weak season for us all. So I was looking this morning. They said they were predicting a light hurricane season, but they actually need the rain really bad in Florida, like we do here in Texas, because when you get that tropical stuff that comes up out of the Gulf, as long as it hits down in South Texas, it swooshes up, and we get plenty of rain in where we need it here in Central Texas. Only God determines that. All right, so let's get started. America, let's see, we got America 250. Let's see. On May 31st, 1776, which was yesterday, New York schedules elections to form the new government absent the British crown. All right. June 1st, which is the day 1776, the Second Continental Congress met in committee to debate resolutions that would pave the way for the Declaration of Independence. So that being said, these are key milestones in the month of June for 1776. June 1st, met in committee, right? June 7th, which is a week from now, Virginia delegate Richard Henry Lee, very famous founding father, introduced a resolution for independence. June 11th, Congress recessed and appointed a committee of 5. Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, Ben Franklin, Roger Sherman, and Robert Livingston to draft the formal Statement of Independence. And then on June 28th, the committee presented Jefferson's rough draft of the Declaration of Independence to Congress. Lots of stuff going on in the month of June as we lead up for the Demiscentennial. Wow, man, that's a hard word to pronounce. The 250th anniversary. All right. That being said, next is the armament shop. Whether you're looking for your first firearm, upgrading your setup, or need expert service, Jason at the armament shop is Copper's Cove's premier source for all things shooting. Browse our wide selection of pistols, rifles, and shotguns, backed by top-tier gunsmithing for repairs, along with reloading supplies and professional cleaning to keep your firearm in peak condition. Need a transfer? We make FFL transfers fast, easy, and affordable. Need your CHL? Jason can handle those classes both online and in person. He has over 3 decades of experience. Visit the armament shop today at 115A West Avenue D in Copper's Cove, Texas, or call or text 254-560-2023. That's www.armamentshop.com, www.armamentshop.com. The Armament Shop. Your safety, our priority. All right. Thank you. So now onward to the actual JP8 report. We have the Iran update. To date, over 120 vessels have been turned back to Iranian ports. Oil prices are up over Israeli strikes in Lebanon. Nothing pretty much came out of the White House at all over the weekend. It was quiet. Kazakhstan is open to storing Iranian uranium. The United Kingdom foreign minister urges Hezbollah and Israel to respect their ceasefire. Well, they respect the Lebanese ceasefire, because the ceasefire was for Lebanon and Israel, not Hezbollah. Iran shot down a U.S. drone over the weekend, and the U.S. had retaliated. There were injuries among U.S. soldiers in the strike. Let's see. Over 900 Hezbollah terrorists have been killed since Operation Epic Fury began by Israel. Iran's president Masoud Pezeshkian submits his resignation. Let's see. Pezeshkian. Okay. Let's see. 26 miles of territory have been taken by Israel inside of Lebanon. They seized some historic castle that's at the 26-mile mark. Iran demands hundreds of billions of dollars be paid back to Iran for war damage for the ceasefire to be signed. France is urging a quick deal between the U.S. and Iran. Oman was warned not to get involved with the situation between the state of Hormuz. Iran insists Lebanon will be included in any ceasefire. Kuwait says they reserve the right to defend itself in lieu of the attacks on its territory, which resulted in the injury of U.S. Army soldiers. The Dow Jones on Friday closed at a record high of 51,032.46. It was up 363.49, and as of about 45 minutes ago, West Texas Intermediate was trading at $90.34 a barrel, and Brent crude oil was trading at $93.66 a barrel. All right, that's your Iran update. Next is we are going to read something about a Congressional Medal of Honor recipient, a very famous one that passed away this weekend, or matter of fact, yesterday. It is with profound sadness that the Congressional Medal of Honor Society shares the passing of Medal of Honor recipient Colonel Bruce P. Crandall, U.S. Army retired, who was awarded the Medal of Honor for his extraordinary heroism during the Battle of Ia Drang in Vietnam. He passed away peacefully at his home on May 31st, 2026, at the age of 93. A legendary Army aviator, Colonel Crandall, was awarded the Medal of Honor for repeatedly flying his UH-1 Huey helicopter into intense enemy fire on November 14th, 1965, to deliver critical ammunition and evacuate wounded soldiers, completing 22 flights through relentless enemy fire. His actions saved countless lives and became one of the most celebrated acts of courage in Army aviation history. With Colonel Crandall's passing, there are now 63 living Medal of Honor recipients. Let's remember him That was another great American gone. All right. And he lived a full life. If you don't know who Colonel Crandall was, go watch the movie with Mel Gibson called We Were Soldiers, about the story of 1st of the 7th Cavalry with, at the time, Lieutenant Colonel Hal Moore Jr. and Command Sergeant Major. Oh man, I can't. His name escapes me. But he was a no-nonsense Command Sergeant Major. But Hal Moore ended up retiring as a Lieutenant General. All right. But sad passing. Remember his family, okay? All right. Next. Trump has made an endorsement this weekend in the South Carolina primary, which takes place on June 9th, next Tuesday, not tomorrow, but next Tuesday. Tomorrow is California primary. All right. So President Trump endorsed the Lieutenant Governor of South Carolina, Pamela Evette. She is in a race against Ralph Norman and Nancy Mace in South Carolina. He made the call this weekend. Friday. President Trump on Friday endorsed South Carolina Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evette over Congresswoman Nancy Mace in the state's GOP gubernatorial primary. Trump, in a Truth Social post, called Evette an America First patriot who never wavered in supporting him, and complimented her choice of a running mate in Governor Henry McMaster's son, Henry McMaster Jr., saying he was brilliant and competent. He also pointed out Evette was the only South Carolina gubernatorial candidate to endorse him as soon as he launched his 2024 presidential campaign. Mace and Trump had a political falling out when she pushed for more transparency in the Justice Department's release of the Epstein file. There's more than just that. We'll get to that in just a minute, too. She said in an X post, following Trump's post, that she understood her decision was at the risk of losing his key endorsement. However, she has enormous respect for him. Mace, who has repeated in the post that she is a survivor of sexual assault. We all know that. And that she had to get justice for the women who made similar accusations against Epstein, the late financier and convicted sex offender. If this is the price for an endorsement, I will never pay it. Trump's endorsement also snubbed Ralph Norman, who leads Mace in a recent poll, but trails Evette and other Republican candidates and State Attorney General Alan Wilson in the primaries June 9th. Okay, as you can see, right now it's Evette, then Norman, or Evette, Wilson, Norman, Mace. All right, she ain't gonna make it, no matter what she says. And the whole thing about Nancy Mace is a fine woman. I respect how she stands. She's a very steadfast Republican. But she let pride get to her. As I said earlier, pride comes before the downfall. She is only one of 435 people. She is not. It's all about the power. Okay, people say it all the time. It's all about the power, because she got her way. She was the first woman to graduate from the Citadel. She decided not to join the military. Tell me someone that graduates from the Citadel and doesn't go to the military. She got what she wanted. She joined Congress, right? Before her last election, she came out and said, "Oh, I was sexually assaulted." Well, people felt sorry for her. She's very confident. She won. She won in a purple, like in a purple district, right? And then President Trump gets elected again, right? And also comes up to the point where, oh, where's Epstein letters, files? I want the Epstein files. I was sexually assaulted. I want justice for all these women. She had this legislation filed. It got passed, and not thinking, they're like, oh, Trump will never sign this because he's in the files, which he's not, right? He said, good idea, and he signed it. Wow. Okay, so that happens, right? She said, I've got the power. I can get anything I want. I'm going to leave Congress. I'm going to be the next governor of South Carolina. And everyone, and I believe even Trump, said, no, stay in Congress. What happens? She goes up against him again. He endorses someone else, and she's in 4th place. My, oh my, how the mighty have fallen. As John Cornyn and Thomas Massey, they're all in the clown car too. And Lauren Boebert, she's about to be in the same situation. All right. Karen Bass and Spencer Pratt, that happens tomorrow. They have this stupid jungle primary in California where the top two, regardless of party, advance unless someone achieves 50% in the primary, advances to November. Right now, it's between 3 main people, right? Karen Bass, Miss Rahman, and Mr. Pratt. You see conflicting polls that are out there. One showing Bass in first, and then you see Rahman in second, and then you see Spencer Pratt in third. Then you see another one that shows Bass in first, Pratt in second, and Rahman about 6 points under in third. And then I saw another one yesterday that showed Pratt in first place, and then comes Bass, and then comes Rahman. They are all over the place. That's why you really don't trust polls, right? The heat of the heat on the ground in the campaign should determine who's going to make the primary, who's going to win in the primary, right? Right now, it looks like it'll be Bass and Pratt. Unless something happens, I don't trust these mail-in ballots that they got out there. Anything can happen, right? I mean, this, I printed this out. This is crazy. Some of the stuff that's being, this is what she said about Spencer Pratt. You have a failed reality TV star who wants to be famous, she said while speaking to 2 actresses before appearing in reference to President Trump. Who knows what it means if you really put a reality star in a seat of power. Pratt spent part of the Saturday criticizing Rahman on X, including attacking her recent campaign advertisements. In a video posted on Instagram, Rahman pointed out to a recent poll and urged her supporters to vote. After millions of dollars are spent against us, we are still here and we are still competitive. Pratt, who is best known for his roles in The Hills, has gained attention in a race by criticizing Bass over the response to the 2025 wildfires in the Pacific Palisades, which is right? And let's see, he has also sharply criticized Bass over homelessness and drug addiction, and Pratt has gained momentum in recent weeks and secured endorsements from fellow reality television personalities, actors, musicians, and media figures. It says, still Pratt, a registered Republican, faces significant challenges in a city where Democrat candidates have historically dominated local elections. So we'll find out tomorrow night. Let's see. Polls close in California at 9 p.m., even though it'll be a trickle of people coming in. So 9 p.m. Pacific time. So it'll be midnight Eastern when the polls close. So we'll all be asleep. I got to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning anyway, so we'll have answers for you then, right? I guarantee you that will be the headline when it comes to Wednesday morning. And my prediction, it'll be Pratt will be in first with 31%, and I would say Bass comes in with about 27%. So 31-27. I could be wrong, but you never know, right? So do we want to go over this one next? Where's my pencil at? Mark these off as I'm going through them. All right. So, yeah, we'll go over this. So I discovered reading through some material yesterday that the DOJ is requesting an investigation or is asking for a probe. They were asked for a probe into the Hunter Biden laptop letter. It's, the one that was signed by 51 intelligence officials during the Trump-Biden presidential election of 2020. All right. So it's all what do you call it? A fallacy. They're just trying to, get you to look at this while they move this in another direction. Okay. A former senior intelligence official, a community official under Barack Obama, reported concerns early in his year that the Hunter Biden laptop letter signed by 51 former intelligence officials in 2020 bore characteristics consistent with the coordinated intelligence deception operations. According to a memo, the ex-official submitted to the IC Inspector General. IC means intelligence community. The concerns have now been referred to the Justice Department. A remarkable turnabout for a letter that was used 6 years ago to censor factually based concerns about the Biden family corruption. The October 2020 open letter released to voters were making final decisions on whether to re-elect Trump or elect Democrat Joe Biden. Was signed by ex-intelligence officials, including National Intelligence Director James Clapper, former Defense Secretary Leon Panetta, and CIA Director John Brennan. Thomas Coons, the former official who submitted the memo recently into the intelligence community, Inspector General, was a senior intelligence officer and former advisor to the Deputy Director of National Intelligence during the Obama administration. Coons told the Inspector General that most of his career in government centered upon maintaining the IC's analytic and integrity standards, which he missed, right? This assessment is not a political statement. It is based on research and analysis of testified behavior, language, choices, omissions, coordination, and effects attributable to intelligence tradecraft. Coons wrote into a memo on the IG hotline, which was obtained by Just the News. Pro-Biden advocates warned that the public reporting that the contents of the Hunter Biden's personal laptop bore the hallmarks of Russian information operation. Then candidate Joe Biden used the letter to fend off public criticism of his son's overseas business dealings, drug use, and alleged influence peddling. We all know that the Hunter Biden laptop was for real. It wasn't fake. It wasn't planted by the Russians. It was Hunter Biden, all drugged up, needed money for a score, and he turned his computer in. Hopefully it could get fixed, right? And it got fixed, but the guy discovered the files on it, which is stupid, right? The analysis is grounded in my expertise applying to the analytic integrity standards and intelligence tradecraft to evaluate raw and finished intelligence assessment judgments. Those standards provide a framework to identify politicization, bias, analytic weaknesses, as well as identify whether intelligence tradecraft itself had been misapplied and misused. He continued. We'll go over a little bit more of this, okay? Ultimately, by applying this framework, Coons concluded that the planning, drafting, and dissemination of the Hunter Biden laptop letter signed by 51 former intelligence officials exhibit characteristics consistent with the coordinated intelligence deception operations and tradecraft. According to a notification sent to Coons on Thursday, the Intelligence Community Inspector General referred the complaint to the Department of Justice Inspector General. The Office of Intelligence Community Inspector General declined to directly address Coons' case, citing whistleblower protections, which is normal, right? But it told Just the News it sometimes refers matters to other agencies for investigation when legitimate concerns are raised. Quote, the ICOIG routinely receives information and concerns matters that may implicate multiple intelligence community elements, other federal departments and agencies, and potential law enforcement interests, it said, consistent with our deconflictation requirements and ordinary practice. The ICOIG may share, coordinate, or refer information to appropriate oversight and law enforcement partners for the review, awareness, and action as warranted. This keeps going on and on. We know for a fact they did their best to inflict damage on President Trump to keep him from getting reelected, whether it be from COVID or the 51 intelligence officials. It just kept going and going and going, and claiming that, oh, we found this laptop. It carried this information on it. Oh, no, it didn't. It was an intelligence sought by the Russians trying to influence the campaign. And people were believing all this junk, right? Now we have evidence showing it was a coordinated effort for the Biden campaign to inflict damage on the Trump campaign and make it look like the Russians were behind Trump trying to support his campaign for re-election, which they weren't at all. It was all Joe Biden and his campaign doing all this. Hopefully, with this being referred to the DOJ, that there will be an impaneled grand jury and something will be finally done about it. All right? Sorry, cough drop, trying to get my throat right so I can talk normal. All right, so it says here, Coons submitted his concerns to the IG in February, arguing that the matters warrants a standards-based review to assess whether the conduct constituted a deception operation involving trained U.S. intelligence professionals targeting American people, which is totally against the law. According to the memo, Coons conducted... my brother's calling. I was going to hang up. I let it go to voicemail. According to the memo, Coons conducted a line-by-line analysis of the open letter, which he says revealed heavy use of deception tradecraft including the signatory status of trained intelligence actors, the apparent extensive coordination ahead of publication, relying on selective information and omission of facts and invoking their personal authority. One of the biggest concerns Coons identified with the process of drafting the letter is that none of the officials who signed on appeared to seek information from the FBI, despite the fact that the laptop had been in the agency's possession since 2019. They were writing on personal opinion, not based on facts. This man, I mean, I can keep going if y'all want. This is crazy. So I'll finish it off, all right? Because we got more stuff to go over, all right? So the effort to craft the letter closely followed the Blockbuster report from the New York Post in October 2020, which caused the New York Post to be totally shut down on Twitter, which was Twitter back then, and on Facebook, until they agreed to lift the newspaper opinion that they wrote, which they never did. The effort is the New York Post, October 2020, showing how Hunter Biden introduced his father to the Ukrainian business partner, a senior executive at Burisma Holding. Joe Biden was vice president at the time. Hunter Biden's tenure at Burisma has come under scrutiny for years from the media and Congress over allegations he used his influence with his father to assist Burisma in escaping corruption investigation in Ukraine. For example, Hunter Biden's U.S. law firm drafted a 58-page plan in 2014 to extradite a controversial energy company from an ongoing criminal investigation in Ukraine that relied heavily on trying to influence Hunter Biden's father, Joe Biden, and the Obama administration in Washington. Biden's efforts to exploit his father's position in Washington to help Burisma have been extensively documented by Just the News. That's where we got this article from. Then there is even reporting that then Vice President Joe Biden called an audible and changed official U.S. government policy on firing the lead Ukrainian prosecutor who was investigating Burisma, where his son served on the board. All dirty politics, all of it. So this is now going to the DOJ for investigation. It should be a slam dunk case, easily, right? The problem is you get politics involved, and he's probably going to get away with it. Probably. Now that his dad is all sick and stuff, because he's. I heard this morning on the news, or an interview with Jill Biden saying he has stage 4 prostate cancer that has metastasized to the bone. So he's got serious health issues. Next, Nicole Malliotakis. She is calling for 4 Congress people, Democrat Congress people, who use taxpayer funds to end up going to Cuba to talk with the Cuban officials and try to figure out how Cuba can get more oil around U.S. sanctions. I mean, you're not making this stuff up, right? Representative Nicole Malliotakis, she's Republican. I did not know she was Cuban American, but she represents New York in the U.S. House. Tells Just the News that she wants FBI to investigate Democrats and liberal groups for helping Cuba evade U.S. sanctions for the lone crime America's founding fathers explicitly identified in the Constitution. Take a wild guess what that is. Okay, it's a 7-letter word. Look, I personally think they need to be investigated for treason, 7-letter word. Malatokas said during a wide-ranging interview with John Solomon, I think they really need to be investigated by Treasury and also by justice. Not my lab, but the real justice. The New York Republican was reacting to the admission by Congresswoman JP8 from Washington that she recently took an official government trip to Havana and also talked to foreign countries about finding ways to get oil to Cuba around U.S. sanctions and a naval blockade. Malatokas said she wants to see the House ban the use of tax dollars to make such trips to foreign enemy soil. What we need to do is ensure that none of these congressional delegations, they call them CODELs, right, that are funded by taxpayers that actually visit our adversaries and undermine our government. They go and actually meet with communist regime at your expense and tax dollars to try to undercut the president, what the president is trying to do. And by the way, it's just not hurting, our government. It actually is hurting the Cuban people who you're actually supporting a regime that starves its people to death and has made lives miserable for 67 years and killed their family members and have split up their family members. Malatokas, whose mother fled from Cuba during the Castro regime, that's Fidel Castro, who has been long fierce critic of the communist-run government on the island. She applauded the Trump Justice Department decision last week to indict 94-year-old Raul Castro. He's a former Cuban president in connection with the fatal shoot-down of 2 American planes in 1996. And she said she believed it is possible that the U.S. military could eventually conduct an operation to capture Castro. I don't see that happening at all. All right, but these people really, really need to be investigated. One of them is Jay Powell, and I forgot what the other 3 were. I saw it somewhere else. I should have printed off that one too. All right, where are we going? Mail-in ballots. Okay, mail-in ballots are a pain in the side of almost every Republican, especially President Trump, because they are so apt to fraudulent use. Case in point, I discussed this earlier. This one lady, she represents Waukegan, Illinois, in her city council. She turned herself into law enforcement because she voted for her mom by mail-in ballot. To make matters worse, her mom had already died. Her mom died, and Illinois sent her a mail-in ballot. All right. And she goes from there and she fills out the ballot after her mom's voter registration had already been revoked because the Board of Elections received her death certificate. But this lady didn't know about it. So she submitted a ballot for her mom, knowing that her mom was dead. 1, she voted under someone else's name. And 2, the person was deceased and she committed voter fraud by submitting the ballot under someone else's name. And 3, they got her also a mail fraud. The postal inspector is going to have their fun with her. Okay, so Illinois GOP chair Bob Grogan is calling on a Democrat Waukegan city official to resign after prosecutors said she submitted her dead mother's vote by mail ballot, a case conservatives say exposes broader concerns about mail-in voting and voter roll safeguards, even though the ballot was caught before it was counted. Thank goodness it was. It could have manipulated the whole system. That's why mail-in balloting is bad. A Waukegan, Illinois alderman, Sylvia Sims Bolton, turned herself in on Wednesday after prosecutors said she submitted her dead mother's vote by mail ballot during the March primary election, which has resulted in 2 charges, including one Class 4 felony. According to the Office of State Attorneys in Lake County, Illinois, a vote by mail ballot by Mary Sims, Bolton's late mother, was issued in the first tranche of ballots to go out from Lake County Clerk office in February. Just days later, however, the same office processed the cancellation of Mary Sims' voter registration after receiving notification of her passing from the Illinois Department of Public Health via the State Board of Elections voter registration system. After the ballot was dropped by Bolton at the official ballot office drop box, it was at a drop box, it went through the county's established security and verification protocols, which flagged the voter's death record as processed prior to the ballot being submitted, and ultimately spurred the sheriff's office investigation, leading to the charges against Bolton. A dead person voting that you're actually aware of that they're dead is the easiest voter fraud to find. It is somebody leaning over the cash register and grabbing the cash out of the till, Grogan told Fox News. That's a good analogy. But the complicated stuff, the behind the scenes stuff, that's something that is harder to find. That this is one-off. This is a one-off incident that if voter fraudsters do it right, it could be many, many more like this. Election integrity advocate Jason Sneed, who runs the Honest Elections Project, added that the Bolton case plainly shows that voter fraud occurs. All right? I mean, just by reading that, I'm sick of hearing these stories time and time again about people manipulating the system and sliding in these things, and they always use the excuse, I didn't know it was wrong. I didn't really realize what I was doing. That's BS. She knew what she's doing, and she knew she got caught, and that's why she turned herself in the other day. She's going to have a Class 4 felony on her record when it's all said and done. I mean, a lot of times people say one vote counts. Well, one vote did count of her, ended up probably going to jail for it all. All right. Hold on just a second here. I'm going to get ready for the raid. Just about 15 minutes. I just got to get set up for it. I hope everyone's doing fine. As I'm doing this, don't forget to hit that like button and click that follow button if you're not already a follower of the JP8 report, okay? I appreciate that if y'all do that. All right. So, man. So the next thing I want to talk about is, if you're fed up with this fraudulent mail-in balloting and these 6 weeks of early voting, 2 months of early voting, next is what they want to do is like let you electronically vote by email. Man, what else could go wrong with that, right? So Hassan Piker got himself on the United Kingdom no-fly list. All right. So that's good. Uh, you know what? Let's hang on to that one. Frederica Wilson. She's a 9-term congresswoman from Florida. She announced this weekend that she's not going to seek re-election for a 9th term. That would get her 18 years as a congresswoman from Florida. But thanks to Governor DeSantis and his legislature, they redistricted it, and it looks like she wouldn't be able to be elected as it is. All right. So Frederica Wilson announced on Friday that she would not seek re-election for a 9th term, marking the latest member of Congress to opt against an attempted return to Washington in November. I think it's time. I think I really held on for as long as I did because of the 5,000 Role Models program and my concern about the future of it. She currently represents the 24th Congressional District, which includes the northern Miami and the Hollywood area. Her decision comes amid a state redrawing of congressional House maps in the wake of the Supreme Court's ruling in Louisiana versus Calais. Wilson indicated that she had held off from announcing her retirement due to political considerations and the prospect that an outgoing lawmaker might make Tallahassee more likely a target to target the district. And she said she had previously declined earlier to say she was going to retire because she didn't want to get people saying, I'm running, all right? But, 18 years in Congress is enough. Let it go. Go fishing. Go spend some time with the grandkids. All right, next. Okay, we got Oyster Boy, Oyster Boy. We got that one right there. Man, why do we got 3 of them from Oyster Boy? Okay, so what you don't know about Oyster Boy, we'll read about Oyster Boy probably tomorrow. Okay, Hassan Piker. So it hasn't been a great last few days for Marxist political influence Hassan Piker, flat out flaming communist. First, Fox News reported exclusively last week the Treasury Department's Office of Foreign Assets Control sent Piker an administrative subpoena seeking financial, logistical, communication records related to his March trip to Cuba. He was the second one on that trip. As part of an investigation on whether he violated U.S. sanctions laws against doing business with the communist regime running the island nation. Then last night, okay, that'd be Saturday night, during protests outside the ICE facility in Newark, New Jersey, hecklers converted Piker, calling him an effing fraud. Take a fake blank grifter, a dog abuser, go back to the desktop. Piker has denied allegations he trained his dog Kaya with a shock collar. Oh my goodness. Now Piker told his loyal following on the gaming platform Twitch that British authorities denied his ETA, that's to be able to get a visa, or for preventing him from traveling to the United Kingdom for a series of scheduled appearances, including events on South by Southwest, London, and Oxford Union. Approved U.S. travelers to UK can enter the country with a simple ETA, which is easier than getting a formal visa. Like here in the United States, we have these little things called passport cards. All right. I've been banned from the UK. I have been to the UK on numerous occasions, and all the things that are complaining now are the things I've said before. He went on to say it's effing ridiculous. Although Fox News could not confirm Piker's claim, such a move by the UK would be as significant because it would mark a potential red line that a Western government has drawn regarding the importation of extremist ideas, which is very true. Very, very true. Hold on just a second here. And for the ones that are watching, hey, I am going to, at 9 o'clock, I'm raiding into the Dan Bongino show. So if you want to hold off until then, that's where I'm leading, okay? So at the end of a long live stream, which is more than 1 hour, Parker said that he was denied entry for the alleged anti-Semitism, which he denied. And yeah, sure, dude. And then proceeded to lash out at the Jewish organizations that he said had complained against him and his visit, claiming that they wield an excessive influence over British policy. Israel advocacy organizations have unbelievable amounts of power that even the United Kingdom has to say and do. If you're an avowed anti-Zionist, your travel will be restricted, flat out, dude. Stay behind your keyboard. Don't go nowhere because you don't know what you're saying. Okay, so quickly, because we're running out of time. That's all right. Oyster Boy, Graham Plattner, running for Senate in the state of Maine, right? His current wife let everybody know that she had discovered that he had sexted many women, including photographs of himself, to other women before he got married, and that she wanted to advise the campaign that they existed before the campaign got hot and heavy, right? And that he had an account with this hookup app called Kik, K-I-K. Never been on it. I am not going on it. I ain't touching it with a 10-foot pole. This guy, Maine wants to elect him to be a senator. He acts like he's a private in the Army or the Marine Corps. Man, this guy is crazy. Now, to make matters worse about the whole situation is Maine has a law on its books that allows the winner of a primary to withdraw from the ballot and let an unvetted, unvoted on candidate fill his slot to run against the Susan Collins. I'm serious. As a heart attack. They could get away. They could use his notoriety to get him past the primary and then convince him to drop out and then put someone in place like Janet Mills, could be, could be, right? Because I do not think he's going to survive the flack that keeps coming at him. So I hope you're sitting down for this one. A controversy surrounding Democrat Senate candidate Graham Plattner continues to mount. Attention is turning to a little-known provision in Maine law that could allow Democrats to replace him on the general election ballot after the primary. The question has taken new significance because the Maine election law provides a mechanism for replacing a nominee who withdraws after a primary. Under Maine law, a candidate who wins the June 9th primary and subsequently withdraws by 5 p.m. on July 13th may be replaced by a nominee selected by party officials, not by the citizens, party officials. Any replacement candidate must be chosen no later than July 27th at 5 p.m. The timeline would give Democrats just 14 days to settle on a replacement candidate and prepared for the general election campaign. While there is no public indication Democrats are pursuing such a strategy, the provision has fueled speculation about what options the party would have if the concerns about Plattner's candidacy continues to grow. The scrutiny comes after Plattner, who faced a series of controversies last week, including criticism over his tattoo, with links to Nazi imagery, resurfaced Reddit posts in which he made inflammatory comments about veterans, sexual assault, and political opponents, and reports about sexually explicit messages exchanged with other women during his marriage. What do you say about it? Believe it or not, the Democrats did the same thing, kind of, sort of, with Joe Biden. Joe Biden had won the Democrat primary for president for 2024, and then he dropped out. And then, without a single vote, Kamala Harris was made the Democrat nominee. Same thing. She got crushed at the polls, and they may try to do the same thing in Maine. You never learn. People never, ever learn the travesties of doing such nonsense. Because if you're going to vote for someone, let them vote. Let them vote. All right. We're almost out of time here. Almost time for Dan Bongino. Let me do these real quick. This coming Thursday in Belton, Texas, at the Dead Fish Grill. Yes, the Dead Fish Grill at 6 p.m. Pints and Politics with Chip Howe. I'll be there. My wife will be there. All right. And it's always the first Thursday of the month at the Dead Fish. Right. Be there. Just show up. It's good Republican stewardship there. Like-minded people expressing like-minded ideas. All right. And then on June 9th, we have the Coppers Cove Conservative Club. And that meets at Giovanni's in Coppers Cove, the second Tuesday of the month, 6 p.m. Giovanni's. It's a group I formed about 5 years ago. We're running strong. You're welcome to join us at Giovanni's, right? If you want to find me, these are my socials, all right? You can find me on X. You can find me on Facebook, ScrewTube, and you can find me on True Social, right? All right. So I'm back. It's 8:59, so I'm gonna go ahead and start getting this thing ready. Let's see there. I'm confirming my run for the raid to go into the Dan Bongino show. So I will see y'all tomorrow morning, 6:30 in JP's morning brief. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I hope y'all have a great day. Enjoy the Dan Bongino show. It will be awesome. So I just confirmed it. 8 seconds. So I will check y'all tomorrow morning. Be there. Thank y'all for tuning in. This is James Pierce with the JP8 report. I'll catch you on the flip side. I'm out.